What if I told you that two countries, over 1,000 miles apart, one full of lakes and saunas, the other famous for goulash and thermal baths, somehow speak related languages, but no one else on earth does? That's right. Finnish and Hungarian are the long-lost cousins in the world of linguistics, but they're basically orphans when it comes to the rest of Europe. They're not Germanic, not Slavic, and not even remotely Indo-European. So how did this bizarre connection survive for thousands of years while every other language in Europe joined the mainstream? I'm TKC, this is Waffle Innit, and today we're diving deep into the lonely world of Finnish and Hungarian. The siblings with no family, no neighbors, and no clue how everyone else ended up speaking Latin's leftovers. Now exactly what is a Uralic language family? It's an old one, like 6,000 years ago old, and it likely formed near the Ural Mountains in what is now Russia. The family eventually split into two main branches: the Finno-Ugric languages, which include Finnish, Estonian, and Hungarian, and the Samoyedic languages, still spoken by small communities in northern Siberia. Most Uralic languages are now tiny and endangered, but somehow Finnish and Hungarian became national languages in two major European countries. Which, let's be honest, it's a bit like if Latin suddenly popped up in modern-day Iceland and Mongolia and both countries just ran with it. But don't get it twisted. Just because they're related doesn't mean you can easily switch between them. Finnish and Hungarian are not mutually intelligible. They're more like second cousins who grew up in opposite ends of the planet and only kind of remember each other's names. Still, they share some deep-rooted features that give away their family link. Both are agglutinative. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation. Which means they stick suffixes on words to build meanings, like linguistic Lego. They both have vowel harmony, where vowels in a word need to match in a specific way. And they don't use gendered pronouns, so basically just woke languages. And neither has articles like the or a. But vocabulary-wise, they're strangers. So how did one end up in the icy north and the other in Central Europe? It all comes down to ancient migrations. The early Uralic-speaking people lived around the Ural Mountains thousands of years ago. Over time, different groups split off. Some stayed in the north, they'd become the Finns and the Estonians, while another group, the Magyars, took a long detour westwards. These Magyars eventually settled in the Carpathian Basin around the 9th century, forming the basis of what we call Hungary. Despite coming into contact with Slavic, Turkic, and Germanic tribes along the way, they held on to their Uralic tongue, which is kind of mad when you think about it. Meanwhile, Finnish developed in relative isolation, tucked away in the forests and lakes of northern Europe. It remained fairly shielded from major invasions and linguistic takeovers. That's partly why these two languages, while distantly related, evolved so differently. Hungarian packed up all kinds of influences in its 1,000-year road trip, while Finnish stayed home and minded its own vowels. So why don't we see more Uralic languages in Europe? Well, simply put, Indo-European tribes took over the continent. When Latin, Celtic, Slavic and Germanic languages expanded, they steamrolled or absorbed a bunch of earlier tongues. But Uralic languages survived in places that were harder to reach: the snowy woods of Finland, the swamps and hills of Hungary. And when modern nationalism came along, both countries used language as a weapon of pride. Finnish became a symbol of resistance during the Russian rule, and Hungarian was championed as a cultural identity when under Austro-Hungarian rule. Now, if you're wondering how hard it is to learn these languages, the answer is very. Both have 15 plus grammatical cases. It's like 15 different ways of saying school, depending on whether you're going to it, from it, at it, or just thinking about it. The vocabulary isn't rooted in Latin or German, so you can't guess the words. And don't get me started on the pronunciation, of which I've butchered many in this video. Vowel harmony alone is like learning to sing in a key while conjugating tenses. So are Finnish and Hungarian connected to anyone else? Not really. There have been a few fringe theories. Some folks tried linking them to Turkic, Sumerian, and even Korean. but none of it holds up. Basque is also an isolate, but it's not related either. Uralic is its own lonely island with a couple of proud ships still afloat, Finland and Hungary. It's kind of poetic, two nations separated by geography and culture, yet tied by a linguistic thread from the Ice Age. In the end, Finnish and Hungarian are the ultimate linguistic outliers. They're related to each other just barely, but completely disconnected from the rest of Europe. Yet both languages have survived conquest, migration, and critical pressure, and they're still going strong. It's a reminder that language doesn't always follow the map. Sometimes it follows the forests, rivers, mountains, or just stubbornness. There you have it, Finnish and Hungarian, the ultimate linguistic oddballs of Europe. Two ancient survivors speaking agglutinative wizardry while the rest of the continent sticks to Indo-European hand-me-downs. Honestly, it's kind of iconic. But before I wrap up, this video is dedicated to the wonderful person who asked for it. You know who you are? Big love. If you got more weird, wild, or wait what questions in this, chuck him in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until next time.